Good evening, dear sisters and brothers. Welcome to the evening session of Being Heartful Every Day with Swadhyaya. As we remain with the theme of letting go, confidence, moderation, zero footprint, this evening invites us to observe how these qualities mature quietly within us over time. Often their presence is not felt as a change in behavior but as a change in inner posture. The heart becomes less reactive, less defensive, and more transparent. In heartfulness, such transparency signals refinement, where consciousness is no longer crowded by preferences, fears, or self reference. Tonight, we explore how these qualities help us meet life without inner contraction. Letting go at this level is an acceptance of impermanence. We begin to sense that every experience, be it pleasant or difficult, has a natural lifespan. And when we stop trying to extend, preserve, or resist experiences inwardly, they pass through us without friction. For an Abhyasi, this brings emotional maturity. Feelings are honored, yet they are not held captive within the heart. Confidence deepens as reliance on predictability fades. Instead of needing reassurance from circumstances, confidence now rests in inner orientation. Even when outcomes are uncertain, there is trust in the heart's capacity to respond wisely. This confidence expresses itself as patience, composure, and a willingness to wait without anxiety. Moderation reveals itself in discernment. We become attentive to subtle signals, when to speak and when to remain quiet, when to act and when to allow things to unfold. Life is no longer approached with excess urgency or withdrawal. Uh, an Abhyasi begins to live with restraint that is neither rigid nor imposed, but naturally arising from clarity. Zero footprint reflects the ability to remain inwardly untouched. Situations are engaged sincerely, yet they do not imprint themselves deeply. And we move through conversations, responsibilities, and emotions without carrying their weight forward. This quality preserves inner cleanliness, allowing each moment to be approached afresh. As these qualities integrate, awareness becomes less personal and more expansive. The tendency to take things inwardly, personally, diminishes. Life is experienced more objectively without emotional overlay. For an Abhyasi, this creates a gentle detachment that does not disconnect but rather enhances sensitivity. And engagement becomes clearer, reactions soften, and inner quiet begins to accompany activity more consistently. Heartfulness reminds us that such refinement cannot be forced. It unfolds through sustained meditation, regular cleaning, and sincere prayer. And as impressions reduce, consciousness naturally returns to simplicity. Dear sisters and brothers, as we proceed further, just a gentle request to please extend the invitation of the Heartfulness Master classes and the BHED sessions with your near and dear ones. Introducing them to these practices without expectation can help them rediscover inner lightness. You will find the additional reading material and videos of Revered Daji, which are available on this theme on the Heartfulness app for all of us. And you are encouraged to explore this additional material to deepen your understanding about this theme. We will now proceed towards the inspirational reading, which continues from the Heartfulness Way, Book 2. And today we are going to read from page number 72, chapter titled Moderation Zero Footprint. As the text will not be displayed, please keep your copy with you and read along. Daji, thanks for that exercise. The idea of just the right amount of confidence is a fine tuning and refining of the ego, because both extremes are an expression of ego. arrogance, and a lack of self confidence. It evokes the aspect of balance and moderation of creating a zero footprint. Can you speak more about moderation? Yes. Moderation carries with it the idea of balance, balance in our senses and faculties, so that we do nothing more or less than required at any specific moment without the slightest impression being formed in the mind. Moderation is a prerequisite for uncovering. Reality, however, most of us are not in that state of moderation. I'm sorry. We give a lot of importance to whatever is happening, strengthening it by force of our attention. The result is that our likes and dislikes grow stronger. In other words, we create emotional disturbances and mental imbalances, which are the root cause of all our troubles and miseries. I repeat, in other words, we create emotional disturbances and mental imbalances, which are the root cause of all our troubles and miseries. Think of the original state that existed before creation of the universe, when everything was in perfect balance. Over time, our senses and faculties have lost that original state as we have succumbed to entropy. In the spiritual journey, we are now reversing that process, restoring balance. Daji, can we also relate it to zero footprint living, where we are in such a fine balance with the environment that we do nothing more or less than what is natural, what is necessary? I love it. A zero footprint lifestyle as a result of moderation. And how do we cultivate such moderation? Pay special attention to your lifestyle. For example, gentle and sweet language, courteous dealings, empathy and compassion, love, respect for others, a forgiving nature, and so on. Creating these habits will help you progress. Moderation is inherent in nature. So once you arrive at that state, you will be in conformity with nature. It is a sense of spirituality. But it is not enough that you feel it. It also needs to radiate outward so others feel joy and peace in your presence. And how does that happen? When you become the quality. You are no longer kind. You become kindness. You become peace. You become love. Dear sisters and brothers, with this, we have completed the chapter reading. Allow the words to fade into quiet awareness. Let us now turn inward for the universal prayer and Friday 9 p.m. meditation with beloved Taji. All brothers and sisters are being filled with love and devotion, and real faith is growing stronger in them. सभी भाई बहन प्रेम और भक्ति से भर रहे हैं और उनमें सच्ची श्रद्धा दृढ़ होती जा रही है. May this universal prayer awakens love, unity, and harmony in the hearts of all. Dear sisters and brothers, as you prepare for the rest tonight, observe whether the heart feels complete and notice if anything still feels held, unresolved, or unfinished within. And without any judgments, offer it to the Master. Allow the bedtime prayer and the reflections of the day to restore clarity and inner ease. Dear sisters and brothers, thank you for joining this evening session. And we look forward to your presence again tomorrow for the morning session, which is going to be at 6 a.m. Until then, may Master's loving presence accompany you through the night. Thank you.